Oh, hey, how's it going? I was actually trying to see if my stream was gonna work because my stream attempt on Tuesday, for some reason, Streamlabs wouldn't work. I hadn't even gotten a new picture. I was gonna use this one originally for the stream, but it didn't work, so I ended up using it for the chapter review. So I haven't figured out what I wanted to use for the picture this week. So I guess maybe this week it will be altered and refound a new stream or a new picture for the stream somewhere midstream. But let me get some of the comments. How's it going, JK Network? Bladius, how are you doing? Iron in July. Glad you made it. Michael Bolong. Yeah, what's going on with you guys today? What's up, Guillotine? Like I said, I don't know what it was because I didn't change anything from my stream last week. I think it was just Streamlabs having an issue, so not a big deal. Luckily, it was in a week where the chapter didn't have a whole. It wasn't a ton to talk about. It was mostly just showcased in abilities and then like stuff for Gray's character. I'm really hoping that this next chapter will give some really cool fight stuff and then whatever Gray's transcendent magic is. There was one thing I did really like. I mentioned it briefly in the video of Gray using more of his demonic side with his magic, because I think he needs to harness more of that so he's not just as dependent on his ice make abilities or his ice devil slay abilities. Just the raw brute force, speed, and physical capabilities of a devil, I think will really help him and make him a lot stronger. Gray's not gonna lose, Nevs. That's ridiculous. Earl gotta dies. Nothing in this arc. Oh, somebody subscribes. Who subscribed? Brandona, thank you for subscribing. Much appreciated. Oh, just about Rill. Yeah, Rill is really bad this week. I mean, he's literally just standing there. It's not like Charlotte was hurt and like he's was doing some form of healing or whatever, and then stopped momentarily to look up to what's happened. She's still impaled, and he's just standing there like a goofball. Like, dude's a whole clown. He needs to stop watching the fight and go and help Charlotte. It's great to see her again. Yeah, it was a nice moment. As flashback, we get this ACR fight will probably be Nozelle's perspective whenever he joins in the fight. That'd be really cool. I really do like seeing perspectives from two different characters. I think it adds a little bit more to the scenario, and obviously it shows us more from what these characters saw from like their mind, and obviously their point of view. Rax the Bread here, Shonen Jump manga release date August 15th. What? Is there wait, August 15th? Or are you saying that that's a manga release? I thought you were saying that like, oh, Shonen Jump is prolonged until August. It's gonna be like, it's crazy. There's a baking manga. It'd be like Candy Flurry, but instead everyone has powers from different types of baked goods and bread products. I would probably go like the classic sourdough, or what would be a really dangerous bread, like to have as a power? I don't know. I think I would just go something like sourdough. I don't know. Maybe you have like rye bread or something. I don't. The food powers are so weird. It's one of the things I like about Candy Flurry though, is just the weird abilities. I think the mangaka put out a picture that initially one of the dude's powers was going to be based off like chocolate chip cookies, and I was like, that'd be a weird power to have, but again, I want to see how exactly somebody fights with that. It would have been really cool, but maybe he's saving it for somebody else or like a later scene in the series. I think it'd be cool because I want to know exactly how somebody weaponizes like this weird like power, and we're just literally somehow manipulating cookies. Like, what do you do? I don't know. I wonder if you could like shoot chocolate chips out like bullets. Something ridiculous. Even been getting Shippuden in soccer is better off than Rill. Rill hasn't done anything since the time skip. Rill hasn't done anything since his fight with Yuno. He's just a hype tool character right now. Relax is the amazing name. Somebody gave that to me, and I don't remember who it was. I can't remember who said that. They gave me the idea for the name, and I don't remember who it was. Actually, most villains who are parents are terrible to their kids. Funny how old Tear's actually a good parent. I mean, she raised her to a degree well, on a personal note, who knows how many people that she killed along the way. That's like, that's in the gray. That's definitely a gray area thing. Gray will get an upgrade to his form soon, Maelstrom. Just give it time. Let's see how Josuke let it slide that Nozelle and his other siblings treat Noah bad. Well, I think it's something that they would do when he wasn't around. Because Nozelle was his normal, like how kind of like cold and to the point he can be. But we've always seen that he's somebody that if he sees you can pull your weight and you can pretty much live up to the job that's been presented to you as Magic Knight, he becomes pretty cool with you. I don't think he's ever been somebody that was intentionally malicious, and so and on top of that, we've seen him correct Solid when he was mouthing off and being too overly cocky. So I've always assumed it's stuff that like he's not, that Nozelle isn't really there to see or intervene. Like they're taking strikes when they know they're not going to be stopped, kind of scenario. My manga's finally happening. Well, I need to know what kind of bread I fight with. So long, Gray's finally taking the spot. We need more of that. Only one of the team not without a power up. Yeah, I mean he's had a lot of character stuff. We just haven't had, we have had nothing for his moveset, for his abilities, and it's him on a wizard like fighting side. And that progress I'm hoping we'll get in the next chapter. It doesn't even need to be anything crazy. Like it could be something as simple as Gray's devil slaying form gets a higher level. Like he's got a horn and maybe a claw, a fang or something. Like he just progresses and becoming partially a demon. And it's like, oh, an overall kind of power increase. Nothing crazy. Maybe he gets like an extra hacks. It can be a super simple display for Gray, but I'm hoping he gets something for his transcendent magic. It's gonna really bum me out if he doesn't get something good, or especially nothing at all. That'll bother me obviously the most. If Rill was just a wee bit more serious to be a beast, if Rill just had some common sense, if he had some like normal thoughts goes through his head of like how to be useful or like situational awareness, I think he'd be good, but he doesn't. You're on volume 37 of Fairy Tail. That's good, Nur. Nur's been, you've been moving. You've been making a huge pace. Soon you'll be getting to Tartaros, which is going to be fun. Since Noelle got a minute left in her form, do you think Monica gets defeat next chapter? No, I don't. I know some people want Noelle to beat Vonica solo. I want it to have Noelle or Nozelle involved, because this was also the same person who killed Nozelle's mom, and he was there, and he had to hide this for years. And I think it'd be better for a team fight with them where they can kind of finally get past this horrible thing in their family together versus Noelle just beating Vonica. It can still have Noelle like do the final attack. Like it can literally end with Nozelle attacking, setting up so she can get a clean shot with like whatever her ultimate magic is. And that could be as kind of like just comboed together like that, or as like straightforward as that, and I'd be pretty happy with it, because it'll be really weird if Nozelle doesn't partake in the fight against Vonica, because then otherwise, like, who does he have an adversary at all in this arc? Because she's a character in this arc that is in direct story combative wise to him, obviously connecting his the person who led to the death of his mom is something that I think Nozelle rather needs to be a part of. We'll see what Tabata does there. I don't know. It'll be really weird to me if Nozelle is not involved. It would be like defeating Morris and killing off Morris without having Mars involved. I wouldn't like it from a standpoint of the story to that specific character and those adjacent to them. Sure's been testing people the last few chapters. Yeah, he's doing his thing. But he didn't kill any of them is one thing that I did notice. So I think that he's trying to force Shiki to be his friend, but he still wants it to happen. Because otherwise he would have just killed the Shining Stars and completely taken them out. Sure is definitely a weird approach that Mishima's going with. Let's see. Sure, definitely die, not arrested. Shura's future, rather, is really just going to depend on, like, does Mishima want to contain him in this arc, or is he going to have in the future? Because if he's not going to show up in the future, then Mishima's probably just going to kill him. He will be one of those characters that is built at such a scumbag level that it's like death is his only way out. If importance to him is not, not in his cards. How sad is it? Moscow is more relevant than Rill at this moment. I mean, yeah. I've compared Rill to Ichiya. Ichiya is obviously more goofy, but a core difference as well is Mishima is nice to Ichiya. Like, Ichiya has comedic points, but it's clear that Mishima likes Ichiya as a character and likes having around. He's a funny character, so I like him too. But Tabata makes it seem like he doesn't like Rill. Like, Rill just does stuff and looks like he's not carrying his weight all the time. Does stuff that is just, what are you doing kind of moments all the time. Again, Charlotte impaled, and he's just standing there. He intentionally removed him from the Heart Kingdom so he couldn't get ultimate magic as well. Like, he could have stayed there, or they could have got Rill or something, but he hasn't really done anything. I personally still think Rill's best bet is essentially being a combat support character, to where he sets his magic primarily to enhance the capabilities of people he's with. Like when we saw, the Charlotte's briars were improved by him making that mud, like essentially making like mud all around the area to give it more nutrition when the briars grew from it. If he did stuff like that, because his magic is so flexible, if he did stuff like that and just pretty much help buff everybody he was with, but he could still attack himself, because he's never been an attack power character. You go back and look at the fight with him and Yuno. He was a little bit stronger than Yuno, but like firepower wise, any other captain should have been outright more powerful. Like the across the board, sure, Yuno's got his own talents, but firepower's also never been Yuno's thing. So it makes it seem like Rill, though captain level in some areas and potential with being able to use all these different elements, being able to draw like locations and minions. He's got a really high level of potential and power, magic, as well as obviously a high mana pool and stuff. But he's never been displayed as like being like this really powerfully dangerous guy. And so I've always thought, at least since seeing the fight with Charlotte, that he should be just being a support. Like, essentially being a support that can attack. Because it's obviously not as badass as someone like Jack in terms of like how he fights and whatnot. But it would be a way for him to be useful. It's kind of like Mimosa. Like, Mimosa's a healer. She can do a little bit of attacking and a little bit of general kind of utility spells, like her, her flower guidepost or whatever. But it's like she's good at what she does, and the teams that she's on do better because of her. Like, she's bringing something to the table. Whereas Rill right now, I don't think brings anything to the table. And he's mostly, like, his position is mostly just based off of, like, his hype and potential that he was given, but he hasn't executed well at all. And if Rill focused on being a powerful combative support, I think people would give him way less of a hard time. But he doesn't. At least not yet. If next chapter Rill said, I saw I did that thing, I'm going to focus on that, and just did that, I'd be like, alright, cool. Doesn't make up for what leaving Charlotte there to watch Noelle, but, you made a good step. What's up, Golden Beast? How are you doing today, man? Moscow will push the button against Nozelle. The thing is, so, what's decently funny is I saw when that dude Nase, or however his name is pronounced, Nase, when his character was revealed in the spoilers to be in this chapter, or at least the most recent chapter, the guy who made him was super hyped. And then he saw who they were against. He's against essentially two mascots and a gag character, Pino, Happy Bot, and Moscow. The thing is, if Moscow presses the button and like that, regardless of whatever it does, if it does something important, I've personally really liked the idea of like pressing it turns him into a combat mode, like turns suddenly into a serious character. I think that would be really cool, but also it would give a much more happy conclusion and a more memorable position for Nase's character. Because think about it, like Milani's character we didn't really get a whole lot. But people are going to remember her not from like a super badass fight or whatever. The people are going to remember her because of Overdrive. That was Homura's first scene of Overdrive. I'll use another series, like a good comparison, because I was going to use Frieza to think of like Super Saiyan 1 to compare, but I'm like, it's not really the same thing because like Frieza was a main villain. He's a very, very recognizable bad guy. Think of it more of like Bluno from One Piece. Like he was like a mid-tier boss, and he's remembered not even for like his his design wasn't like super great. It was okay. His devil fruit was interesting, but it was okay. Like the door fruit. If people remember that one because that was when the movie started using second gear. There's a chance for Nase's character to be more memorable if the Moscow button gets pressed and we get to see what that thing does in the story. I think that'd actually be really cool, but we'll see. That dude better watch out though, guys. It'll be a little bit unfortunate if he loses through like gag character stuff with like Moscow and Pino doing something. I don't know. He's gonna act up like Gon did onto to Pito on sure. Anger's taking him over. I think he'll calm down a little bit before then. I think Shiki might have a couple problems going in there, but then he'll probably be a lot more kind of like a silent anger upon entrance, and then something might happen to kind of like enrage him while he's there. Just my guess. Moscow's finally gonna do something as well. Yeah, man, the button pressing. I'm hoping for it. I really am. Like, for real. Serious question. If Real actually does nothing for the rest of the arc, is his character unsalvageable? Pretty much. Noelle said she has no kind of memory of her family. Nozelle knows they're bullying her. Wait, what? Nozelle said she has no kind... Yeah, because Nozelle was never kind to her. I'm saying that I don't think that he just was there every time that Nebra and Solid were rude to her. What's up, Phil Jones? How are you doing? Nothing, we're just talking. Predictions on Morris's magic. I'm really hoping it's not as plain as extraction magic. What I want is it to be brain magic. I want his power to essentially be his mind, where it's like an enhanced version of just... It's like how you have plant magic, but you have world tree magic. It's in the same category, but it's this hyper mega rare version of what it is. I wish Build King was still a thing, because I could use Vigors as an example. You have like the general power system, but then you have these amazingly rare godlike Vigors that were so great. When you look at like brain magic, it would be like that for memory magic. You would just have this absurdly high level of brain affecting thing, and it could go into why he's able to mess with Lolo Petrica's head, because imagine it's like, oh, he goes into her brain and accesses the Heart Queen power, and then because of his magic he would never forget anything he finds out, so essentially any knowledge he learns is forever his. You can do so many cool things with that, and even with that you can do just basic kind of like mental attacks of like telekinesis or whatever. It would be cooler if it was done in a way where it was a magic not that he necessarily fought with, but what made him so dangerous and so powerful. I think it would be really cool if it was something like that. Hashirama Senju is Aldron's Dragon Slayer. His dragon wasn't as cool. It had that big weird nose. Since Hero loves ice users, I hope Yoga and Elsie's crew has some interesting abilities when it comes to his ice. He's probably got a couple moves he'll throw his way, but I'm pretty sure that Hyogen is going to be way more of a caster than Gray is. I think he's going to be way more of like as just kind of like a ranged attack dude. I'm kind of hoping that Hyoga is more like a boxer, or more like a way more stern set of like martial arts, because we only saw like I think 2 attacks from them when they're shown, right? I don't think there was much for their general moveset. I'm pretty sure it was just 1 attack. Kind of like Creed and Victory. They only had like pretty much like a showing each. At least from what I remember. Well, let me see what else is going on there. I haven't watched Tokyo Revengers yet or read it. Feature Wizard King Sekio versus Morris. Seki's gonna get something after this arc, and I do think that's gonna be kind of funny. Like, I know people make, like, all this Wizard King Seki jokes, but the thing is, like, Seki legitimately has a lucky enough set of random chances that he will be highly ranked within just the Clover Kingdom in general by the time we get that far in the series. And I think that's going to be pretty funny. Just like later on in line, it's like seeing a background character slowly progress. It was actually reminds me of in Attack of the Clones when Jar Jar Binks, you see he's like a diplomat now. It's just like, wow, how did you move to this high level position with your set? I always just thought that would be pretty funny. Thoughts on Yamato versus Kaido and Kid Law versus Big Mom? I mean, I don't care anything about Big Mom. She's such an unimportant character to me in my mind. I get she's like actually like tied to like large scale One Piece events, but her character is used in such a joking manner all the time that I can't take her seriously, and she's just not. I don't find her entertaining. On top of that, like she's not even like a character that I like to see do dumb stuff. She just is. She's so lame. Kaido, I'm up and down with Kaido. Sometimes I like him, and then he'll do something that really is, I think is dumb, and then he'll do something I like again. Right now, I'm fine with the fight. I still don't at least currently get the point of Yamato, just because she hasn't really done anything yet. There's just been, like, mostly talking. I mean, look, but at the same time, it's not like the arc is over, so I just gotta wait and see where that goes. I'm interested in the character. I like the design, obviously, and I like that now she is on the side for Wano and stuff. Like, the only thing I didn't like is the fact that, like, the whole Odin fanboyism. I'm never a fan of well, I don't mind fanboyism. I just don't like Odin, so it's another thing that I was annoyed with. I was tired of hearing about him so much. Let me get to some more stuff. Do you think Noelle's transformation is a minute that could validate Noelle and Udine working together to progress form further? Well, this is just like the first time we're really seeing it in use. It's just the starting point. It's like, here's a skill, you haven't mastered it yet. That's it. Like, nothing crazy. There was nothing too wild about her having a time limit. The reason people didn't want her to have a time limit is because doesn't have a time limit, and then it's gonna annoy people that it's so much shorter than Asta's. But the thing is, Asta and Yuno have both been using their powers. Asta's been merging with his, or like more of like channeling his anti-magic in his body, and then trained Devil Union with Libe, and then doesn't even master it yet. It's just like what he's at there with the overall experience he has with his power. Yuno's obviously had Spirit Dive for a while, and it was been with Bell for a while. Whereas this just happened with Noelle and Undine, so I don't expect Noelle to have like, oh yeah, instantly 20 plus minutes time. I'm guessing when it goes out is when Nozelle is going to show up, and I really want Nozelle to show up. What do you say Aldrin is the most impressive villain in Fairy Tail when it comes to hacks and versatility besides Zareth? I mean, August exists. August is pretty versatile, too. The thing that makes Aldrin so dangerous is his is so well-rounded in pretty much every category. Because on top of that, even if you beat the God Seeds, unless you beat Alderaan, their God Seeds are going to respawn. And it's like you have to get on his body for that. And a one-on-one, he's just going to he could just use Thicken of Arms and just spam you. The thing that was messing him up is he was getting attacked at his actual body and his avatar at the same time. So he was pretty much just getting screwed over slightly and messing with his timing from events happening when he didn't have his mind in one or the other. Whereas one-on-one, he's just going to spray you the Thicket of Arms. He's got all this hacks. He's got essentially minions, but they're part of his body. He's the size of a country, and his shouts like shatter the land for thousands of miles and clear out the skies. Nozelle in the fight, but coming at the bottom. Nozelle in the fight. Yeah, I want Nozelle to be in the fight because you gotta keep in mind that was Nozelle's mom too, and he was there when she got cursed, and he probably blames himself for it. So I really think he needs to be in the fight. Even if we don't get like some super long he tells everything about how he feels and stuff, and how what this fight meant to him in defeating Vonica, and like we don't get like some super in depth kind of character glimpse. I just wanted to be there because I understand at least the concept of the like his involvement in the story from these two events, being at the Spade right now and what Vonica did to his mom. He has to be there. It'll really bother me if he's not involved in the fight at all. Because then it's like, what, he's going to fight some random Spade character or fight against some devil that he has no connection to other than it's a threat? He's got a really big character that is, opposing to his history. He has to be there for that. It would be like if Lucifaro was defeated and Asta wasn't there. Despite being obviously the main character. But it'd be like, this guy, that's the guy directly responsible for the death of his mom. Like, it'll be very strange if that's, if that goes down. It's one of the reasons why I want Dante to also, get higher up. Get, like, as a better character. Because I do think Yuno needs to be there when he's dead, too. Like, not just defeated, like, when Dante actually is killed. Can anyone from the Fire Force beat main God Seed Alderaan? I don't think so. Because the thing is, like, Alderaan by himself still has his main body. And then he should still have all his God Seeds. Because the thing with the God Seeds is they're not separate characters. They're extensions of his character. They're linked to him. If you kill them, they're on a timer until they just regenerate because they come out of his body. They're part of him. They are the same as, like, when you talk about pain, it includes the 6 paths of pain. But the difference it's way separate from him is it would be like if you were talking about fighting pain, and then he could also just fully actually, can pain fix his clones? I remember something about being able to heal some, but I don't remember if he can outright make regenerate their bodies. I don't think so. Either way, it's kind of like the same thing. Radiant Volume Cover 15 coming next month. I gotta remember where I'm at in Radiant. I have to, I think, like, I read at the part when you met the second of the horn dudes. Oh, I forgot his name. Not the one that was pretending to be Seth's brother, but the other dude. I'm trying to remember. I remember his name stood out to me so much. The black dude with the dreads. His name stood out to me so much, and I'm forgetting it. I'll have to go back and look. But that was the last time I read it. It was right when Seth got that new form. I gotta get back to it at some point. You didn't like Radiance manga? Radiance manga is a little slow at the start, but it picks up. Especially when you get to, like, Merlin and stuff. I really like that arc. I thought that was all really good. Captains seem to have a good balance of attack, defense, support, magic, loot, Yami. So the thing is, like, the captains are all really well-rounded at everything in basic level, at least. None of them have, like, an area that they just are really lacking. All the skills that they have are at least at a pretty polished level, but they all excel at something. Yami's best thing is that his spells combo so well together. Whenever we see Yami fight, he's doing all these things to kind of set up an attack. And then if he can set up Dimension Slash and get Dimension Slash, he wins. Nozelle's is that his magic is all-purpose magic. He can take any shape with it. And on top of that, it's Mercury, so it's poisonous. Leon obviously has a massive mana pool. He has Salamander now. He just has insane offensive magic. You get Marileona, who can also do the same thing but burn magic, but be close range melee fighting. Obviously, Monozone as well. Like, characters like that, they always have something they're rounded at. Rill doesn't have that. Rill has the potential, but Real doesn't have anything to like represent like he's like, oh yeah, regardless of if he's a speed based character, he still has fast reaction speed, or he can still take damage, or he's can do all these like crazy things to set up. Like Real doesn't have that. The problem is Real hasn't had anything extended upon where he was last at, and it actually kind of reminds me of Elfman's, but with way less to it. It's really weird. I remember someone saying that Real was kind of like Elfman to me, and I thought about it momentarily, but it's like, I can see the general idea, but Elfman does get good chunks of content. It's just not as consistent as it used to be. He had like a, just general, when you think about him in the story, after the Grand Magic Games, there's a good chunk where he's just not really, like, he's not really doing much. He he got used as a puppet by Sale and Tartaros. He didn't have anything after that content. And then he didn't really have much for fights in Alvarez. He fought Agil off panel. So it's like he just feels as bad because he hasn't gotten stuff in a long time. Whereas Real had a good start and then just hasn't had anything since the start. That's the problem Real has. And it's weird. It reminds me so much of Yamcha, where at some point it just seems like they grew a hatred for this character, so they just want to make him look like idiots all the time. I don't know what it is. Real is just in a bad spot, and I can't tell if Tabata actually dislikes him or it's just this horribly unfortunate string of events. What's going on, Gene? Gene, you still have your mod ship in my chat. Don't worry. Transcendent magic is based on Speria. Are they going to be able to keep their magic power-ups in Earthland? Oh, no. So the magic itself is transcendent. Superior is a different power entirely. It's kind of like how curses have Bane particles. It's a different power source. Road Dragon Joe's alchemy amongst fairy tale hacks. I mean, it's pretty good. It's near like some of the ones where before you get to like really broken abilities. It's a good one. Its real value is in that it has such a wide range of usage. It would be like if you were a maker, like you were a make wizard, but it was like make matter or something. And then it has its being able to turn somebody to stone and stuff. It's got attacks. Probably someone like the mid-tier hacks, like upper mid-tier hacks. Because once you start to get to like the better hacks and fairy tale, starts to get really absurd. Let me see what else we got in the comments. But in terms of them forgetting their magic, I don't think so. I think they're gonna get so used to it, it becomes almost like it's like ingrained into their moveset. It's just something that they'll have done so much by later on in this arc that they'll be able to still replicate it once they go back. As well as they could easily just get stronger wall out here, and it just translates to being still strong when they get back. They not only are in the situation where they're stronger, but they also do some form of power, like power increase event, whether it's training or strength by experience and event. I'm kind of hoping that we can get the Diablos members and the Fairy Tail members working together, and then maybe have like a training portion. Maybe they help them train to figure out how to get past Dragon Slayer motion sickness or something. Yes, Gene says like the stream. Yeah, like the stream. I'd appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. And if you feel like donating any money, you don't have to, but it is appreciated. Other than that, I accidentally backclicked and I lost my spot in the chat. 1 second. Luckily, it was right where Gene was commenting, so Gene is my bookmark on this one. How am I? I'm doing good. Do you think Sister Ivory has been underutilized or not? She's been fine. She just hasn't had like a big like spotlight focus in a bit. But she's the like healer. She's like their medical person. She's not going to be out doing stuff a whole lot. And I think that her character is in a solid spot. What's funny is like people initially compared her to Mira Jane, which is pretty much just because of her hair, but it's kind of in a way that her character is like swapped in and out way less, but it's like it's gonna happen. But like it would have like a 2-to-1 kind of ratio of like arcs to be involved in. Like she's a character that similar to what Miranjin got in the anime, she'll get like a lot of attention extra in the anime. Like if they do an anime only arc in Eden Zero, they would probably make Sister a main character in it. That's what I can see, because that's how it is also with Yukino in the anime too. For some reason, Yukino is popular amongst like the animation people. Never knew why. Like she's not a bad character, where there was never a whole lot to her. I don't know. Mishima, I guess, really wanted to have Yukino have some more face time. The animators were right about it. Who knows? Wait, what is this? Zero should have hired Diablos instead. Well, he doesn't know where they are. But also, I don't. Here's the thing. Let me read the rest of this real quick. Instead of assembling the 12 Spriggan 12 to help his invasion of Fiore, they're much more confident, especially so first off, no. Part of the problem that the Alvarez Empire had is Zareth saw everything as a game. He didn't want it to end abruptly or boringly. That was one of the things that was upsetting Irene, was because he wasn't taking it as seriously as he should have. If he wanted to, there were multiple people that could have just cruised into the guild and won. Like in reality, if you just tell Jacob to go there from the start, nobody would have known he was there. He uses transport, claps, they're all gone. If Irene literally just went there, or August, unguarded, like just by themselves, or Zerf could have literally just teleported in, nobody could have stopped him. He could stop time and have taken Mavis and left. The only reason that they had way less of a direct aggressive approach is Diablos are like a guild. They're a singular inner group, a faction of their own. And they don't have like a million troops. They're not making large-scale strategic plays. They are immediately identifying and trying to deal with threats. Whereas if Zareth wanted to, the Alvarez arc wouldn't have even happened. It was just based off of the fact he's crazy. And on top of that, if you just sent all of Diablos at them, that's not going to go well for them. The thing is, we've seen right now, we haven't seen their people fight somebody like Irene or August. Because granted, Suzaku was able to beat base Natsu, which is still impressive, but it's nothing that like August or Irene would really have to worry about. I could see someone Suzaku's level being able to give a decent fight to someone like them, but I don't see them winning. And the fact that the Spriggan 12 also have August, I don't see anybody in Diablos taking August. I really doubt they could take Irene. Zareth knew what he was doing. Like he had the ultimate like force set. The problem was that he was batshit crazy and wouldn't let them fight like to their instant full capability. That's why we could say Auril was wasted potential. I mean, yeah, so far. Hopefully he does something. Here's the thing. I'm annoyed with Rill. I'm open for Rill to redeem himself and to like perform and pull his own weight. I'm open for that. I'm game for it. But he hasn't done that. That's the problem. Oh, other than Irene and August? No, I think the Spriggan 12 are a really solid group. And we've seen with Brandish that I don't think most of up there. Like, it's clear that someone like Suzaku would be able to fight Spriggan members. It's clear that which should be also Georg level people, which really is unknown. I would guess he's maybe like upper Spriggan, like my assumption. Maybe not August level. It's really going to depend if Mishima wants to do something crazy with that. But most of Diablos couldn't mess with a really powerful Spriggan, someone like Brandish. And then Irene, I just see walking through a lot of them. Because a fraction of Irene beat Dragon Force Nibaru, so you have to keep that in mind too. Oh man, like I don't even know how like most of them would fight like even like Demaria or Wall. Because Wall, I feel like, would just outsmart the hell out of him and just outrange the hell out of him. No, Nozelle was also degrading Noelle. You've forgiven. Oh, you've forgotten? I'd have to go back and look at the parts. I remember Nozelle's were way more about her not being able to pull her own weight. And it being more about her own capabilities. And similar to Asta, when he saw them start, like, actually are capable magic knights, he became nicer to them. He didn't become instantly nice, but like I don't remember him having a personality of bullying. His was more of just how he talks to people that he views aren't doing enough or aren't meeting expectations. At least that's what I remember about Nozelle. Really think that Saul and Neva would put down. Oh, who cares about it being in random public spots? If it's not like social media in real life, that doesn't mean he's instantly gonna know. But I don't think random people are gonna go talk to Nozelle if they see like people of like a royal family like doing stuff. Gray is cool, Sinbad. You shut your mouth. You go back to your webtoons, you clown. Would you like more Nozelle or Fuego? See, I've thought about that one a lot. I really like both of them, but if I had to say, I kind of like Nozelle more, because Nozelle has gotten more story content from, like, progression of the story. Fuego, like, hasn't had any real kind of reason to do stuff in this arc other than to do his job, which is still something, but, like, we have Vigicula and Vonica obviously tied to Nozelle, so like we've gotten more stuff for him. I like how he uses his magic a lot more. Fuego's cool, obviously Salamander's cool, but he hasn't done anything with it that I think is that impressive. I actually preferred when he like pre-Salamander, when he had like the big lion breath. Like if he somehow combined that lion aspect with Salamander and had like a lion dragon kind of attack thing, that'd be really sick. But he doesn't have anything that really makes me hyped about his moveset as well. I like his backstory, but like his backstory has mostly just been kind of like interactions between like him and Marileona, which is nice, but it's not as like much to get invested to as something like the Silva family and what happened with them and their mom. So I would probably say Nozelle overall. I mean, it's still in the running. The story for their characters are still going. But at the moment, I'd probably lean towards Nozelle. Since Eraser has held off Shura's forces well by himself, if Justice Jaguars show up, do you think this base battle will be one-sided? I was going to say no at the first part, but I completely forgot that Jaguar's going as well. So, yeah, him getting in there is going to be beastly. I would assume that with 3 Galactica or 3 Interstellar members that are going to go full force at Nero's Empire. And on top of that, I like when you really think about it, they also are going against the Eden Zero crew and possibly Ziggy's crew in the Eden's 1 and possibly Elsie's crew. Like it actually looks when you think about it is looking a little bit dangerous for Nero's Empire. I'm really expecting there to be a secret boss character, not like between the oceans. Like there's just one extra bad guy who's like way more powerful than the oceans and Shura and stuff. Because now that I think about really like all the people coming in, unless we get cross fighting between like say like the pretty much Justice. I mean really I was gonna say like which section of the Interstellar Union, but I'm just Justice. If Justice suddenly decides to go against Elsie and her events, stuff like that, to take away heat from Nero's position, then really they're going to be a bad spot, because one of the oceans is already defeated. They already defeated Milani. Like, they've already knocked out, like, one of the strongest people in their, in their empire. So we're in a weird spot coming up before that. So I'm guessing that Mishima, though, has some wild event planned with Ziggy, and that's why he hasn't shown anything with him. I don't know. But when Jaguar and Justice get there, it's gonna be looking really bad for the Narrows Empire. Like, for real though. Yeah, Sinbad is mid. We call him Sin Bum here. What's up, Gino Jace? Seeing Hermit cry is tough to watch, honestly. Yeah, she's too nice of a character to see sad. Oda needs to stop off-screening fights. I think Oda is fine with off-screening fights because he knows the anime is gonna juice it up, and he has admitted himself he doesn't really like drawing fights. So I can kind of understand why he's he does this a lot, and they'll just upgrade it whenever the anime gets to it. It's one of those things where it's like, oh man, that's gonna bum some people out, but it seems to make him happier. I don't know. It's weird though, because he does it very constantly now. Right once he got it off his chest and he doesn't like doing, he's just like, I don't have to hide this shit anymore. And well, I guess he hid the fights, but it's what it is. He's gonna save Suzaku from Celine. I think that the rest of Diablos are gonna show up and save him and just get him out of there. Because we do have the fact that Scullion can like teleport people through turning them to ash. So they're going to have to get Way as a way and just talk to him. And maybe that'll will lead up to Fairy Tail and Diablos kind of talking. Once they get like this whole confrontate, like this like complete misunderstanding out of the way, I think that it's going to work towards them working together, essentially getting on the terms with each other. And I just thought about it. I'm gonna do a video, and I think I know what Mishima did in this scenario by having Suzaku beat Natsu and Urza, and then putting Suzaku up against Celine, where he's clearly losing. He's clearly getting dominated by Celine, and he's really hurt. If they come in and save him, and then he's very damaged, Mishima will have effectively set up a scenario where you can have the groups talk while taking out the three characters who are so quick to action with a threat. Because when it comes to threatening and having a threatening past towards their guilds, we've seen, obviously, Natsu is directly to combat. He's directly to take action if you slander his guild. Same thing with Urza, or if you're a threat. And clearly Suzaku is that for Diablos, because he so far has shown that he does care about the members of Diablos and the people in his guild. So it actually be really clever of the way he's done this, is he's made it so like they can, their two groups can talk to each other without having the people who are going to go directly to confrontation. Like they're set down right now. These pieces are disabled. Because despite like obviously Gray and Lucy, Wendy, all of them are ready to fight if they have to, but they're all the characters who are way calmer in discussion. Whereas, like, you can have Scullion's definitely shown that he's smart. Madmel's shown that he's not a bad guy. Kiria's the only one that had to be like, calm down, bitch. Just sit. Just settle your ass down. Because Kiria is not so much of a problem, because it's clear that Scullion has, like, a level of authority over her. Like, just to enough of a degree that she doesn't just kind of go crazy. Whereas, like, he wouldn't have that over someone like Suzaku. Suzaku is obviously more powerful, more highly ranked in the guild, and Scullion wouldn't be able just to stop him if he wanted to. Sanji also finally getting a moment against Queen. Oda's got a really important one in his hands with that. He can't off-panel that fight. He needs to show that fight. Doesn't have to be all in like one like back-to-back chapter, but he needs to make sure that fight gets shown. It's like the nicest thing he's done for Sanji in so long, and can give Sanji a win instead of Sanji just forever having the L spaghetti that he's been getting. Which character writing stuff have you been enjoying more 100 Years Quest, Gray's or Lucy's? I mean, in terms of just character stuff, definitely Gray's. There's a lot of the stuff that is for Lucy has been not been entirely answered as to why, and I think one of them is I think that Natsu's living magic link went from Zeref to Lucy, and that's it. There's multiple points in that I think makes sense, and stuff like that I think he's done with Lucy that just hasn't been fully answered yet is a big hindrance in comparing the two. Whereas like Gray, we've seen all of Gray's stuff, like everything that we've gotten for Gray's character in this has been directly out in the open for Gray and from Gray. So definitely Gray. I think Gray has probably had the most progression in him as an individual, and seeing where he's at from a personal standpoint in at this point in the story. Like, he's gotten the most out of any of the other characters. We've gotten chunks with other characters, like Natsu having that weird response to his form that he got from Ignia, or again from Ignia, that he's got like this very kind of weird, vague stuff set up there. And like when when the fight was over, he didn't seem to have any memory of it and stuff. That he's got stuff like that, like Wendy with Irene's personality, like enchanted into her. That a lot of characters have their own like stuff set up, but Gray's is by far the most at the moment. Like, so Gray definitely got an edge from that standpoint. Rax, how am I doing? What's up, Egan? I'm doing pretty all right. Just having a nice Saturday. Probably look for food after this stream. Probably go figure out what I want to do for dinner. But other than that, I might look for a movie. I kind of want to watch that second Jurassic World movie. I still haven't seen it. Yeah, pain can restore the other pains. Can he? That's what I was trying to remember. If like they can regenerate or something, or just heal. Because the difference is, the Godseeds will straight up grow new bodies. I don't remember if you fully annihilated one of the paths of pain, if they could just regenerate somehow. I just couldn't remember that at all, because I remember both of those powers are in the series, but I don't think they ever came into contact from those two. Having Yonko's daughter Yamato as the Straw Hat would be lit. I actually would like Yamato and the Straw Hats. I like the idea of that, and I'm really hoping that it goes down. Look, we've had chances for like new characters to join the crew all the time, but it hasn't happened. Like, I thought Rebecca was gonna join the Straw Hats, and I like Yamato enough that I think it would be a good addition. Because Oda doesn't seem to like want to progress a lot of his characters in different directions. Like, they have like their own stuff, and then they become like fits for the Straw Hat crew, like additional members and additional pieces in that unit. So having like a new face that does work well already with the characters and seems to have a connection point in the story to join already, I think it would be cool to have her in there. One of the pains can revive the other ones, I'm pretty sure. Oh, okay. What do you think is going to happen in the next chapter, Four Nights of the Apocalypse? I'm guessing that they're going to be able to stop the ritual, but I don't think they're going to beat Ironside. Maybe we'll get to see his face. I think that would be pretty cool. How far will it go against Conan? Conan would whoop Rill's ass. Running story power levels are under city level specific. Objects are used. Having lots of fun with it, since it's easier to write a realistic scene when building level is the norm. It really just depends on how you plan to progress your power system and how you want to set your world. The thing about when it comes to like power level progression, it's easier to start low and work your way up when it comes to a world, if you're using like a regular world, especially because the planet is really limited when you think about it from that standpoint. If you have a completely fictional world, you can do a lot more crazy things because your range is just way more expansive. Chopper is like real too. Hasn't had a lot of good fights in years. Yeah, but Chopper is a mascot character that also is a character to a degree. He's more like Nero. Like he's way more like Sekri. Whereas Rill is supposed to be a captain. He's supposed to be like a prodigy. Chopper's fodder, I mean, pretty much. Fairy Tales also has joke villains like Kane and Franmont. And there's first off, Larkade isn't a joke villain. All the groups have a comedic member in them. The one for the Spriggan 12 is Jacob. But these are intentional goofy characters in like their own individual groups. Whereas Big Mom is like a massive character Like, she's one of the strongest people in One Piece, but she's clowned on constantly. This would be like if Celine was a gag character. Now, granted, Big Mom isn't supposed to be a gag character. I don't think she is a gag character. I think Oda just treats her like she's a big clown, though. She's almost like Buggy, but slightly more serious. She is to Buggy what Rill is to Ichiya. Like, it's just a chunk more serious to not be a gag character, pretty much. Wendy made these fights possible, and she's doing her work in. Even though Kaiser is old, he was retired, he thinks it's a shame he hasn't done anything big at all. No, I think he's fine. The way that I look at Kaiser is like the old guy in like a cop movie or a show who's like a week or two away from retirement. And like his age is always like a factor in like conversational joke parts. That's what I really see with Kaiser. Kaiser is retired. He served his time. He's here to support. He's just doing an extra duty. That's why I like Kaiser, regardless of Kaiser getting a lot of feats. Kaiser came out of retirement to do his job. Well, to do a job that he had retired from for the good of his country. Friend Moth is better than Big Mom. Yeah, but the thing about him versus Big Mom is like Franmoth is a upper minion in the Tartarus arc. He is a boss, but he's not like a character's main fight boss, whoever their big fight of the arc is, and he's obviously not a mid boss for any of the characters. He is a strong opponent that is kind of goofy. He's the same way that Jacob was. It's not the same as someone like Big Mom, who Big Mom is like a massive character within the series. She has way bigger of a role, and she's treated with less, she's treated way less threatening. She's lame. Whoa. Does Franmoth get the F-word pass in his Demon Slayer form? I don't know about that. Oh, does Frey? Oh, Gray. I don't think that's how it works. Pretty sure that's not how it works. Bet Scully and Raider can clap Gray with an arm behind his back. The thing is, I don't think Scullion beat Gray for being outright more powerful. I think he beat him in hacks, because you can beat a character stronger than you if you catch them in hacks that can apply to them. I'd be very curious as to where Gray would be compared to Scullion in an all-out fight. But it seemed like they were pretty fairly even up until that point. I'd be willing to guess Scullion is stronger at the moment, just based off of it seemed like he was putting in way less effort as things were going. Like Black Ash wasn't even a Dragon Slayer secret art. It was just a named attack. I'm guessing it's still a Dragon Slayer thing. I mean, his was weird because it wasn't a secret art, but it didn't have like corpse dragons, whatever, ash dragons, whatever. Actually, let me see what is his from the official manga. Let me go real quick to Comixology. Let me pull it up. We'll see what his is. So I remember that it was slightly different in theirs. It's like corpse dragons. I could go get one of my volumes off the shelf, but I don't want to get up. Let me read some comments while I look for it. Scullion, though, is really cool. I'm hoping like a lot that Mishima makes him... Like, Mishima gives him something to do this arc. Because Scullion, to me, feels like he's the head of the main Diablos group that we've seen in the 100 Years quest, since we've, had this all start and go on. And I really hope that we get more from him. And clearly Suzaku is stronger. Because I was hoping he was going to be an upper member of Diablos, but he can still get stronger. It's not like he can't get more powerful as things. So yeah, Corpse Dragon. His Corpse Dragon's Utter Ash, big attack, and then he just does Black Ash, and it's not a secret art. It's just called Black Ash. So very, very weird that there's nothing extra to it. Gio from Jarvis will probably be the only person who's standing against August and Irene. I thought so too. Like August, the way that I kind of look at it is, if you compare Hades, Margear, and Zero, Georg would be Zero. He's he's in league with them. They're just more powerful. They're considerably more powerful. And you know how a fight between them would go. But he would be able to fight them. That's what I'm kind of hoping too. I don't want Georg to be absurdly powerful to the point of, like, it's like, how are you this strong? Unless it's something that one happened recently, because we know now that they gain the same attribute of the dragons they've eaten. Maybe he has multiple types. Maybe he has, like, gained to a certain power level recently by consuming more dragons. There's stuff that's definitely a factor in how strong he is and why he's that strong. I'm just hoping that if Mishima decides to make him really strong, there's something that really can kind of push that position. Like, also, if he's really old. He's an old man, so, but, like, is he an old man, like, by regular standards, or is he an old man by Dragon Slaying standards? And he can also turn into a dragon. Maybe he's actually, like, a few hundred years old. I'm actually still hoping we can get a character who was around during the first Dragon King Festival, and just be like one of the original Dragon Slayers that have just been hiding all the time. Because that's one thing that, like, is a possibility in the series that we've never had anything touched upon. It's clearly dragons that have been able to hide. So what about Dragon Slayers? What about other characters, like, involved in this? Where would you scale Bon and Momo after their small skirmish? Bon and Momo? What? Okay. Oh, from frickin' Mission Yozakura. Because I was thinking Bon from Seven Deadly Sins and Momo from Bleach. I was really confused. I mean, I would be willing to guess, like, you'd probably be able to get, like, small town level or something kind of, like, actually pretty well from that shot. The shockwave was pretty big. The destroyed amount of rock was actually pretty impressive already. If that one statement when they said that something is splitting the ocean, if that was legit, like, if it went all the way down to the ocean floor, that would have been, like, that would be such a crazy power level jump. Like, it'd be like when we, that Kaiji number 8 chapter where he made that shockwave that, like, covered a good chunk of Japan. It's like, that was a extremely impressive random jump in power levels. It's like when Acnologia first showed up, and he's just like, alright, bye, island. Honestly, haven't cut back to Robin, Frankie, Jinbei, and all these fights for a while. Any more attention, like Nami having Zeus. I don't really get how Nami really got Zeus, because shouldn't, like, how does, like, the soul extracted from to such a small level, like, absorb into her staff? I didn't get that. So Nami also just has this, like, Yonko level of firepower. I'm kind of confused on like where she's at with that, and, like, how that kind of part of the story happened. The girl Diablos gave Urza a fight better than Agil. Agil would have beat Urza if no one else intervened. What do you mean? No, even once Urza figured out how to, like, deal with his sand attacks, once he used Sand World, like, he was gonna lose. Or sorry, she was gonna lose. He grabbed her and was gonna drain her and was gonna, like, chop her down with his axe. She only was able to get away from him because Biscuit shot Agil with Jupiter blindsided. Urza did not have a harder fight against Kyria. She had a rough first time because Kyria used hypnosis, whereas, like, the second time, all Urza had to do was close one of her eyes, and then she was pretty much pressing on Kyria. Current Lucy versus Margear. Lucy has a chance, to be perfectly honest. Like, the thing is, like, from her overall fighting, fighting capabilities, like, I'd say Margear has, like, way more general skill and like, combative tact, but Lucy should have the outright stats to take him. When we saw, like, Gajil, not having full damaging effect on Metro's big-ass wood golems, but Lucy, when she used her Stardress mix, well, what did she use, like, Aqua Stream? That completely tore a side of one of their bodies completely off. So she's got, like, the firepower to do it. She's got Spriggan level of firepower. It's just not something that's, like, it's not casually something that they do. It's like that's her all-in attack kind of thing. That's like most of Lucy's magic. So she actually has the potential to do it. If she gets caught in, Memento Mori, she might actually have like at least a one-time save from that, because she would have hologram, would be able just to teleport her out of there and bring her back, because he's got that at least once auto death saver like ability. It's not as useful in like team fights, but if it's just her, if it's like getting away from one axe, like she actually has a really good kind of like one-time getaway jail free card. So I'd probably honestly give it to Lucy, like, because Mardgeir is so cool, but he's like right before you get to Spriggan level, and like even if you wanted to be generous, you can maybe say he's like low Spriggan level in some areas, but it was very clear that there's a big skill gap when it comes to like full tiers. Like when you go from as like base S class, and then you get to like Wizard Saint people, and then like low Wizard Saint to God Serena, and then you get to people who are on level with God Serena to Spriggan, and then you get to August, and then people like above him like freaking Zareth, and you get to like those echelons, and then now we're at the freaking Dragon Gods. And that's an overarching, like, a massive, like, just massive, like, power dome that they have over this. These are the top. And the only character, logically, at least we have now, that would be above them is Ankh-Saram, if we ever get anything with Ankh-Saram. Anyone saw Record Ragnarok anime? Yeah, I heard it's bad. That makes me sad. The manga is so good. If Ursa Niboro fight, who wins? She should be fine. Like, I don't see why she wouldn't be able just to, like, use any of her armors to use, like, elemental effects to deal with the silk. And on top of that, like, she's got Nakagami armor. And she has Belsarion, so even if he went Dragon Force, she would be able to hurt him. I don't think that she would have that much of a problem with him. Because the thing is, he just overpowered Wendy and what Wendy was capable of. Whereas Urza doesn't have to worry about those same things. She's literally getting completely dominated primarily in the fighting style that she knows how to fight in. Urza would just adapt to it. Like her whole setup is all these different armors and weapons and how she can adapt to like certain fights. Where like Wendy is a combat support wizard and is getting just completely mauled by this Dragon Force induced crazy guy. Though I'm still hoping that he comes back and, like, maybe gets a little redemption. See what's going on with Nibiru. I've been hoping he's like Gollum and just follows him around. Have I played Pokemon? I have not. You want to talk about Sinbad now? I haven't finished Magi, so I can't say. Eden Zero's anime style compared to Fairy Tail's anime style. I mean, Eden Zero's looks way better because it's newer. Fairy Tail's old style looks so strange sometimes to me when I look at like newer series. It just has that really old style in the beginning, and then it kind of gets like way cleaner. I wish everything stayed in that the kind of this first reboot style, like obviously what like Tartaros was in. An Exceed Dragon Eater. That would be pretty cool. I know people have been talking about like having an Exceed one in there for a bit. I think that'd be pretty sick. Irax, I can't say go watch new My Hero, but I'll leave a like. Oh, you can't stay. Oh, you're gonna go watch My New Hero. Oh, okay, that's fine. Thanks, I appreciate it. Girl White Mage is still a mystery, but LF Saria is still sus. I'm pretty sure it's LF Saria. I feel like it's LF Saria, because it's like, is Mishima gonna introduce another new important character? I'll be really surprised. Like, he's got a lot of important people already set up. Like, if he's gonna introduce a brand, like, that was like if the Grand White Priest, Grand Whiteout Priestess was like actually like a really powerful character instead of seemingly kind of more like an elder. I feel like we're gonna have another OP character like pop into this. I mean, not just like OP, but more of like a very important story character to come kind of thing. I don't know what talking about. Like, no, wait, Nozelle blamed Noelle for Aesir's death. I mean, she's definitely got like a thing. He definitely had an issue about it, but he's gotten over it. Yeah, I always have problems keeping up with the chat because I go on random rambles and shit. New Dawn Horizon. Wait, what? No, Otis said he doesn't like to draw fights. He said this himself. That's why he doesn't draw like nearly as many long fights. It's mostly fights for like Luffy and Zoro. Other characters don't get like as many focused long fights as he used to. I don't remember what volume he said this. He just says that he doesn't like to do fights that much. I'm just saying, man. You'd have to go look for it, but I know he said this. You see the Fire Force leaks? I haven't seen it for the next chapter. I'd have to go look. But it's going to come out on Tuesday, so I was just going to wait until then. Conan overhead power-wise? Yeah, but that doesn't really mean anything. Like, what does Rill do to her? Can Gajil eat Black Blade, Yoru, Shusui? Yeah, probably. I don't really see what reason he wouldn't be able to just eat it. Current Max versus Nami? I'd probably just give it to... I would give it to Max just based on the fact his speed should be so much higher. I mean, his level of damage is still a little bit in a decently questionable area because we know he got a lot stronger, but what we saw was him powered up from Wendy. He still at base was able to disperse some of Doom's spore clouds, so I don't see what real issue he's gonna have with Nami. And on top of that, with Sand, he's got the elemental advantage of, like, a ground-based thing to lightning. And I know it's not Pokemon, but I mean, like, if you have a clear and easy way to block lightning, like, from her lightning bolts, then you're pretty much good if you can stop her best thing. And he's got the damage to take her out pretty easily. Ajo's not a joke. Ajo is cool. Ajo's problem is like his later fight got off-paneled. Ajo is taken still as a very serious threat of a character. He fought a very serious opponent like Urza, and he had like a really good really good rounded moveset. I wish we got more of him though. I wish we got to see a couple more cool attacks. So I feel like Sandworld isn't his best ability. I've always thought like he has to have like something even more insane than like the Sandworld. But I think Sandworld is more of like this super utility spell that is so encompassing and so hindering to most people that it's an all-around really good spell. Which it is, but I always wanted to have something crazier than that. Maybe one day. Similar to Yonko, Big Mom, Kaido fighting one arc. Which Shrine God would you want to see fight? Igni. I want to see Igni again. If I remember eating magic and souls, you'd think he'd be way stronger than he was, like, Spriggan level. Well, but the thing is, like, his body by itself still would have a limit. So that's just relying on his hacks. But him as an overall fighter, it's like how you can take a character like Jura. You could take a character like Jura and put him against somebody on his level in Black Clover. Say someone like Nozelle. I usually would say like the Wizard Saints and the Black Clover Captains are about. They should be around the general same level, at least from what I can deduce. You could have Jura versus Nozelle. Power wise, they can match each other like decently well, but the fact that Jura has such a higher level of physical strength, he can just kind of go. He can just pretty much karate shot and one-shot him because that level of physical strength is something that Nozelle would be able to deal with. But on top of that, it wouldn't matter to his mana skin because it wouldn't be a magic-based attack. It's just raw physical damage. So, Fremont doesn't have the level of just like general body strength. It's very clear like Natsu was smashing him down with a large piece of debris, just completely clobbering him with physical strength. And I don't think he could get high enough level with his base frame. He's just a really OP. He has a really OP ability, but you just have to figure out how exactly to beat him. Like Osto has zero problem with him. He just has to look out for getting linked and having his soul absorbed. Then it's GG, but he wouldn't have anything to really absorb from him, and us is like just physical strength based. What's up, Jared Punch? How's it going, man? Rex, there's a new manga site called Azugi. It's coming in June 26th. I saw that. I'm gonna sign up. I'm really hoping it has. I have to look more into it, but I'm really hoping it has 100 Years Quest simul release, like the same time it comes out in Japan. It will come out there, and I could read it because I'd be really happy about that. Because I'm alright with fan translations to a degree. If it's especially if there's no other way for someone to keep up with the series from officials. Like, we don't have it. Like, I don't really, I pay for all my Shonen Jump subscription stuff. I don't read a whole lot of nearly as much unofficial things now because I have a better place here because it's gonna be better quality. It's gonna have better translations, and there's a lot of stuff that's easily cleared up better and like more understandable if we have the official translations versus the fan translations. That happens all the time. So I'd be very happy to get a simul translation for 100 Years Quest so I can read officials and have the best quality scans, best quality translations and like quality of the scans like same day. I'm very hyped for that. I saw it's like $5 a month, so I'm guessing it is gonna have more of a. It's essentially gonna be like the Shonen Jump one. So I am expecting there to be like, hey, here's our series that are coming out. Have officially same time English release kind of setup. If they don't, I'm going to be really disappointed. The villain arc is being skipped, but I think the build animated that is the new movie. Wait, they're not skipping the villain arc for the anime, are they? The mid-year rankings, I haven't seen them. The old ocean, since they were brought up twice? Maybe. I mean, it would have to be if it's like a point where we've lost all of the current oceans, and then Nero's like, well, I have to bring you guys out of retirement. I have to get the older generation. They're even stronger kind of thing. Record animation is so bad it makes the Eskimo Meliodas felt like a masterpiece. Yeah, I heard it was terrible. Well, I've seen some clips. I haven't gone to watch the episodes themselves, which makes me really sad. I was excited for it, and I was hoping so bad that it was going to be good. Do you think Shiki will may go into a dark side eventually? Yeah, I think he's going to have I think he's going to be like Darth Vader or something. He's just going to have like a darker side for combat. Reading Sunning? I've read a few. The thing is, like, mine is mostly like, is a series translated at a fair rate, or can I read it somewhere at a fair rate with like a regular release? And that's usually shonens. Like, even fan translations, the shonen ones have a very fast translation usually, so I'm able to read them more often and at a consistent rate. So the only one that I really kept up with recently, I think, was it really was Berserk, and unfortunately, rest in peace, Mira. I don't have a whole lot right now. Actually, what is it? Jagan. That's definitely ascending. I'm not caught up with it, but I've read it. I was like, right when the Tengu bad guys showed up. I don't remember what chapter that's at, but it's I gotta read some more at some point. I gotta find. Actually, I'll probably just buy Monster, because that's one that I've always had on my list, because I wanted to see Johan in action. So another dumb Reddit thread saying Fairy Tail copied hockey because it's enchantment. That's kind of goofy. That's super goofy. Like, I think the idea of enchantment existed after One Piece. I'll take Pluto Urasawa is overrated. I'm not that super fan of his stuff. Like, I know 20th Century Boys is super hyped. I enjoyed it, but like I didn't buy as much into the hype. Monster is more of like my style. I think I'm gonna like Monster a lot, just based off of like what I know about Johan and the whole concept of his character. Nibiru versus Mimi. Probably Nibiru. I think that he just, with Dragon Force, he should be definitely stronger than her. But also, I think that his whole clinging and sticky Dragon Slayer thing. It would be like, well, your physical strength doesn't matter if it's just bound up. I think that it's just a power counter thing on top of where I think that he would have better stats too. Props to Sanji. Gray finally in Spotlight. Well, Gray's gotten a lot of good character stuff. Sanji had some stuff in the Whole Cake Island, but then it was like, yeah, memory erase, sorry. And Gray has had a lot more, I think, better general treatment by Mishima than Otis had with Sanji. One second, I have to look something up. Some stuff I'm trying to get off eBay. I'm watching some timers, trying to get some cards. Maybe they're an Elementary Hope stuff. I hate Power. Why are you so mad, man? Sabretooth are just dead. No, they're fine. Deku and Yuji's currently at a worse place right now, mentally and emotionally. Definitely Yuji. I mean, he's got he's a up for execution dude on the run. Like he's in a bad spot. Really hope Natsu goes through a training arc to master Dragon Force. That's what I'm hoping happens with Diablos. I'm hoping they team up with them and there's like some Dragon Slayer to Dragon Slayer stuff going on. Acho just got progressively less threatening. Yeah, that's because he's like one of the weaker of the Spriggan, and we started to move towards the bigger people. Like he's still strong, but like when we get to people like Damari who can stop time, it's just like it makes him seem like less of a threat. Well, he is less of a threat. It makes him seem like he's got less value, but at the same time, it's not like it doesn't change the fact that he's still really powerful. Did you see RTL's take on Goku being D tier of the Moro arc? Yet he has never read Dragon Ball. Yeah, he doesn't know anything about Goku's as a kid. He doesn't know much about like what made Goku so popular. It's weird. He was getting mad because I was saying so as Aaron. I'm like, hey man, Goku hasn't had an arc as bad as Aaron's end. But it is what it is. And unfortunately, RT likes to have very strange takes. Bacchus versus Classic Mega Man. I thought that was going to say Magna. I was like, alright, that's a fight. And then it's just like, Classic Mega Man. I don't know how strong Classic Mega Man is. I know someone like the crazier Mega Man stuff. I don't know how strong the original was. I don't think he was that powerful, was he? Yeah, they're just moving where my villain arc is. Why are they moving it? I know it's way too. What if Natsu could say mentor to improve his Dragon Slaying magic? That might be Georg. Who wins hand to hand, Jura or Marileona? Oh, hand to hand between Marileona and Jura. I'd give it to Jura, because Marileona has like the burning magic thing, but Jura is so much more physically strong than she is, and he's way more technique based in how he fights. Like Jura's a really good matchup to somebody around Marileona's level that is just a good counter to her. Like his just raw physical strength would be too much for Marileona to handle. It's a better work, Onigashima or Spade Kingdom more. I like the Spade Kingdom better. I think it's more entertaining to watch. I like the story that's happening more. I mean, some people. I mean, obviously, like One Piece is gonna have more fans, but I'm just not as invested with their characters as much as I am with like what's going on with Black Clover. So the personal take is I would definitely say the Spade one. Plus, like people forget the Spade arc is not that far in. Like I don't think it's like, oh, you know, we're 30% of it. No, I think we're maybe like a third, or I don't know why I said 20% to like get a third. I think we're maybe like a tenth of the way in. Maybe not a tenth, because we're like when did this actually start? Actually, yeah, like 60 chapters ago. So probably maybe like a sixth of the way, fifth of the way in, something like 20% actually. I don't know why I picked such a low number as like my representation of like the first point. No, I think we have multiple acts left. Because I think everything up to Yami's capturing was Act 1. We're probably in, like, Act 2. Maybe we'll get, like, 5 to 6 acts in this whole story. Man, I'm liking the idea though of Bacchus versus Magna, but I think Bacchus would. I thought this the other day. Bacchus's drunken chop hanging fist would just be too. It's a bad setup for Magna just based off of their soul chain. Would obviously like equal them out, but unpredictability, like the whole big value to a drunken martial art is that like you can't have your movements predicted. And I think that would screw Magna over. I just thought that would be a cool fight. I realized that'd be a really good one because it would just come down obviously to like technique, and that's like literally everything Bacchus is he's entirely a technique based speed and technique based fighter, but the soul chain obviously would get rid of like the speed advantage and stuff. I hate Shura from Akame. I'm trying to remember who that is in Akame ga Kill. Do I think Berserk will continue? There's the possibility, like if maybe Miura's head assistant, maybe if he knew like how Berserk was gonna go, maybe he left him information on how to finish it or something. But I don't know. The weird thing about Berserk is it could literally like wrap everything up in a movie, and I'm hoping they do that. Like, the only thing left is the big battle between Griffith's army and the God Hand. And you can just include the God Hand in it because of who Griffith obviously is. Like, it could really work. But it would have to be, like, a really good high-quality movie. Or, like a multiple-point, like, animation series. I don't know why they didn't do that. Give it a really good anime in, like, memory of him. Just have it all animated. Give them a good studio. Have Berserk actually look good. Maybe like literally work like because maybe if they know the backstory or like the whole setup of the ending, they'd be able to like in honor of him give him like a really good anime, do the full story, and then by the time you get to where it's at right now, continue it, and then just have everything planned out perfectly and animated perfectly. They would have the time for it. It would be really cool. Between Sanji and Ro currently, I don't know who is worse. Rill at least isn't a goofy simp, and he's not a main cast member. That's one of the things. He's a big side character, but Sanji is a main cast member. Gray had such a great chapter, to be honest. Yeah, it was really nice. I'm hoping though the next chapter is more of a combat chapter. I really want to see Gray's transcendent magic. Acho went from being a threat to entirely Team Natsu. I wouldn't say he was a threat to all of them. He was a hindrance to them all getting away. Because they, like, when they actually were fighting him, the only people that really did stuff was Lucy and Gray. And Lucy's was useful, but Lucy's wasn't, like, what would be a threat to Agio. Whereas Gray was. Gray, when he flash froze him, it clearly affected his big sand golem. But he just broke out. So he was still somebody who could fight him, but it's not like he was pressing their whole group. He was just following them because they weren't trying to fight him. He was just a shown considerably powerful guy. When we actually saw who was going up against him, it was Makarov, when Makarov was trying to like protect everybody, because Makarov didn't know, like, literally multiple members of the people there, like everybody there could beat him. Like Natsu alone could defeat him if he really wanted to. And it's only really seen between Makarov and Agio when he used that big sand tidal wave of where his threat level is, but not really out of the whole group. You gotta look in the context of that one. Selene isn't above Acnologia. I don't think that here's the thing. If you stick all the Dragon Gods in Acnologia, regular Acnologia, not talking about Space Between Time Acnologia, regular Acnologia, you could say that they're all on level with him. Like, you could say that hype is legit, but it wouldn't mean that they could beat him, because he still has the advantage power-wise in every category. They would have to team up to defeat him. But the thing is, like, none of the Dragon Gods really communicate with each other that much. So, that's always been at least my reason of why Acnologia was wandering around, is that he was looking for them to kill them.
Because if he can beat any of them 1v1. If he can, anytime he could take one out, that would literally just be one of the last things that would be potentially a threat to him. I just don't think he ever could figure out where they were. Because like, man, I wish Acnologia's kept up with talking to people and like being involved in society at least enough to know about like guilds and stuff. Because like, what if he just went and qualified for the 100 Years quest and he's like, yeah, give me information where these dragon gods are. Bacchus versus Magnus sounds like an interesting battle. Well, yeah, it actually really does, just by the nature of what it would come down to. But Bacchus with his drunken martial arts style would be, it would pretty much just cancel out Magnus' whole like chance of winning, because it would just come down, like when Magna does this thing, and like it's gonna come down to how you can handle each other's attacks and deal with close range melee combat. And like Bacchus already has that, but if he has no way of hitting Bacchus, then GG. But Bacchus is just gonna be slapping him every single time. But Shura get steamy with Witch? No. It'll be strange. I just don't get God High School power scalers weird. Yeah, when people are just only focused on power scaling, they get super strange. It's like fake deaths, like Pell and Alvast, because they end up being cheap. The thing about fake deaths, to me, this is my take on the fake deaths, because I'm alright with them as long as, one, the way that they're saved makes sense, and two, something comes out of it. Does it, like Juvia's death? I actually thought Juvia was gonna die. I didn't think Gagil's setup was legit. I thought there was gonna be something there, because I was like, he's got to be there to fight Acnologia. Well, with Juvia, I actually thought Juvia's was legit. But with Gray and Juvia, it moved the story between their characters forward. So if there's something like that, where it moves a character forward in their own storyline, or there's some form of development out of it, I'm all right with it. That's at least my. Oh, my cat just knocked something over. I think she was sleeping and knocked something over and woke herself up. Don't think Selena's slightly stronger than Acnologia. I don't think so. No. I don't think she's more powerful than them. Like, saying that they're on level with Acnologia is already such a massive thing to say. Saying that like she's above him, I don't know about that. Like, if she gained an outside power on top of where she was already at, I could say yeah, sure. But I don't think so, especially after we saw him eat the space between time. Kenjaku from Jujutsu Kaisen as a villain. Is that Kamo Noritoshi? I like him. I think he's cool. He's kind of Aizen-ish. But yeah, I'm gonna wait. Who's more wasted, Naoya from Jujutsu Kaisen or Nama and Lilith? Probably Naoya. I'd say him because his was so quick. And his fight felt like it was getting set up for the Culling game, and now it's just, it's unfortunate. Honestly, Eden Zero being compared to Fairy Tail even worse than Black Lord being compared to Naruto. That's saying something. Yeah, it's because people only want to look at. The thing that's weird is like you look at all the Eden Zero characters, and then people want to say that Mishima doesn't make any new looking characters by just comparing the ones that he does on purpose. It's really weird. It's like you have all. I don't know how many characters altogether so far. Like you could just say like 40 or something. You point out like these ones that it's not like they just look. There's like a bunch of things that you found out look somewhere. It's like, no, it's very obvious he's doing this. But why aren't you looking at all these other dudes? But yeah, what's worse, blowing up robots or Mahito killing Junpei? I'd say Mahito killing Junpei because it was set up so out of nowhere. Like Junpei was gonna become a bad guy and then just suddenly gets wasted. But anyway, I'm gonna call it good. Thanks to everyone for showing up to the stream. I'm going to try and return to the normal schedule. So Saturday next week we'll stream again. And then the Tuesday after that for the 100 Years Quest chapter. I don't know why Streamlabs is giving me a problem on Tuesday. But it seems like just leaving it alone has fixed it. I don't know if it did an update or something, but it